Hello, guys. So we are back to our book, The Science of Getting Rich. I've not been able to read this book for like 2 days now because there is no longer enough time in the day, with coupled with a lot of things that I had to do. So we're in chapter 5, increasing life. Increasing life. You must get rid of the last vestige of the old idea that there is a deity whose will it is that you should be poor, or whose purpose may be served by keeping you in poverty. This one is for Nigerians that are always thinking that their village people is the reason why things are not going well for them. The intelligent substance which is all and in all, and which lives in all and lives in you, is a consciously living substance. Being a consciously living substance, it must have the nature and inherent desire of every living intelligence for increase of life. Every living thing must continually seek for the enlargement of its life, because life, in the mere act of living, must increase itself. A seed dropped into the ground springs into activity, and in the act of living, produces 100 more seeds. Life, by living, multiplies itself. It is forever becoming more. It must do so if it continues to be at all. Intelligence is under this same necessity for continuous increase. Every thought we think makes it necessary for us to think another thought. That is the reason why when you solve when you provide a solution to, or when you solve a problem, from there problem will spring up again. It's a continuous process. Every single thing in the universe is infinite. Every thought we think makes it necessary for us to think another thought. Consciousness is continually expanding. Every fact we learn leads us to the learning of another fact. Knowledge is continually increasing. That's the reason why you should always keep a an open mind and don't think you know it all, because we're constantly learning. Once you have concluded that you've learned a particular thing, or you know a particular thing, the human biology is very lazy, and once you have concluded within yourself that you've learned this thing, the brain automatically becomes lazy to and actually marks out opportunity for you to increase knowledge in that particular area. It just wants to conserve energy. Like, this is proven science and biology. Every fact we learn leads us to learning of another fact. Every fact we learn leads us to the learning of another fact. Knowledge is continually increasing. Every talent we cultivate brings to the mind the desire to cultivate another talent. This is the reason why you should not earlier in my career, I kept on jumping from one knowledge to another, even when I did not actually know how, like, what is the purpose of all these things, because am I going to make use of all of it? In fact, some of my friends are always saying, Vera, today you are doing this, tomorrow you are doing that, today you are doing this, tomorrow you are doing that. But at the end of the day, it's making a whole lot of sense for me, because all those things, when you have a dream, sometimes it might not be in one place or in one field that you will get the skill set you require to actually build that idea that you have in your head. Because, like, most of all these things you might have to learn a little of this, learn a little of that, learn a little of this, learn a little of that, to gather the knowledge, to be able to gather the full knowledge that you actually require to make whatever picture you have in your head to become real. I'm saying this out there for anybody that is feeling like they are jack of all trade and master of none. Just keep learning. You're going to have need for this knowledge. It's better than not learning at all. Okay, so every talent we cultivate brings to mind the desire to cultivate another talent. We are we are subject to the we are subject to the urge of life, seeking expression, whichever drives us on to know more, to do more, and to become more. You cannot help it. You cannot help it. Is as long as you are made with the God essence inside of you, you're forever going to be driven to do more, to know more, to become more. In order to know more, do more, and be more, we must have more. We must have things to use for we learn and do and become only by using things. We must get rich so that we can live more. The desire for riches is simply the capacity for larger life seeking fulfillment. Every desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility to come into action. It is power seeking to manifest which causes desire. That which makes you want more money is the same as that which makes the plant grow. It is life seeking fuller expression. Let me make sure this thing is recording, because most of the time I record, and the one living substance must be subject to this inherent law of all life. It is permeated with the desire to live more. That is why it is under the necessity of creating things. Under the necessity, it cannot help but keep creating. That is the law that the universe as a whole is built under. So it must work for you. The one substance desires to live more in you. Hence, it wants you to have all the things you can use. It is God that is in us to will and to do of his good will. Whenever you have an inspiration or an urge or an idea, it's not you. You're not the one, because when you understand that the universe is energy, when you understand that the universe is energy and frequency, you will know that depending on how you feel in the moment and depending on the frequency, depending on how you feel in the moment, which actually generates the auric fields that we've been talking about, that's the energetic field that is actually magnetic, is going to determine the frequency that you will be tuned into on a universal level, that is not going to cause whatever idea or inspiration you are going to receive, because we are all channels, and that is going to cause you to want to create that or bring that into existence. We are all instruments that is used by God to bring his ideas, not your idea, because you are not capable of an original thought. You are dependent on tuning into a particular frequency and bring into reality that which you have received. So it's not your idea. It is not your idea. It is God. It is the desire of God that you should get rich. He wants you to get rich because he wants you to get rich because he can express himself better through you if you have plenty of things to use in giving him expression. God wants you to get rich. Anybody that is telling you that is humble to be poor, it's not humble to be poor. This morning I was reading the Bible, and it was the wretched, it was the people that are even poor, the poorest ones, that were actually striking and spitting on Jesus. So it's not humble. Poor people are not humble.